Be ready. Start. The principal submission made by Shri Ashwani Chopra, learned Senior Counsel for the appellant, is that eviction of a tenant on the ground of bona fide requirement of the landlord is not provided for in the East Punjab Urban Rent Restriction Extension to Chandigarh Act 1974, and also after the amendment of the said Act in 1982, and therefore the eviction petition filed by the respondent landlord, wherein he had sought eviction of the appellant's father, who was the sitting tenant, was not maintainable, and the view taken by the rent control authorities and also by the High Court is erroneous in law. Shri Sudhir Chandra, learned Senior Counsel for the respondent, has on the other hand submitted that on a correct interpretation of the provisions of the enactment applicable to Chandigarh, a landlord can seek eviction of a tenant on the ground of his bona fide requirement, and the contention to the contrary raised by the learned counsel for the tenant is wholly erroneous in law. In order to appreciate the controversy raised, it is necessary to set out the relevant provisions of the concerned enactments. The main enactment, wherein restrictions were imposed on the increase of rent of certain premises situated within the limit of urban areas and the eviction of tenants therefrom, is the East Punjab Urban Rent Restriction Act 1949, which was published in the East Punjab Gazette on 25th March 1949, provided that residents in a building only for the purpose of guarding it shall not be deemed to convert a non-residential building to a residential building. F. Rented land means any land let separately for the purpose of being used principally for business or trade. G. Residential building means any building which is not a non-residential building. Section 13 of this Act deals with eviction of tenants. Section 13(1) and the relevant portion of Section 13(3) Clause A, which have a bearing on the controversy in hand, are being reproduced below. 1. A tenant in possession of a building or rented land shall not be evicted therefrom in execution of a decree passed before or after the commencement of this Act, or otherwise, and whether before or after the termination of the tenancy, except in accordance with the provisions of this section. A landlord may apply to the controller for an order directing tenant to put the landlord in possession. The second contention raised by the learned counsel for the petitioner is that the order of maintenance should be made effective from the date of passing of the order and not from the date of filing of the application. Although in this regard there is a contrary view also, however, the learned trial court or the learned revisional court can grant the maintenance from the date of filing of the application under Section 125 CRPC. In this particular case, the application was presented in the trial court on 23rd January 2006 and it was decided on 23rd September 2008. Thus, the application for maintenance was decided by the trial court within 3 years, and further the revision was filed on 4th November 2008 and it was decided on 31st October 2009. Therefore, no inordinate delay can be said to have occurred in deciding the application for maintenance as well as the criminal revision petition number 70/2010 revision petition. Therefore, in my view, the order of the revisional court to grant the maintenance from the date of submission of the application cannot be said to be improper, irregular, or illegal. Learned counsel for the petitioner also submits that the revisional court should have remanded the case back to the trial court for proper adjudication because the revisional court has no jurisdiction to enhance the amount of maintenance. Rather, the revisional court should have remanded the case back to the trial court for redetermining the quantum of maintenance allowance. Per contra, learned counsel appearing for the non-petitioners submits that the revisional court can pass any order which the trial court can pass in a particular case. Therefore, it was not necessary for the revisional court to remand the case back to the trial court for redetermining the maintenance allowance, as the revisional court itself can enhance the amount of maintenance in view of the powers conferred upon it under section 397 CRPC. I am of the view that the revisional court has the same powers as that of the trial court. Therefore, in my view, the learned revisional court has committed no illegality, impropriety, or irregularity while passing the impugned order dated 31st October 2009, criminal revision petition number 70/2010, and accordingly the same does not require any interference. Further, the learned revisional court, while enhancing the amount of maintenance, appreciated all the relevant facts, and as per the admission of the petitioner husband in the reply regarding his monthly income being rupees 11,600.